Welcome to this video, the preparation for the full moon in April. And this video is just a bit of an outline of what to expect for the moon and some thoughts around how to prepare for that really powerful full moon that's coming up on this weekend. So welcome, glad you could be here. Now just a quick note, the full moon is on the 13th and that's Australian time. As you can tell by this beautiful Australian accent, that's where I'm basing it on. But the 12th for, say, America. So just check out the different times for depending on where you're based as to, when the full moon event's going to be happening. Look, the purpose of this video is to just set in place, basically around personal growth, emotional releases, and that connection that happened throughout the full moon. Things to do in preparation for it, just a bit of reflection, chance to really focus on how things have gone this month and where, and then taking that insight, shifting it to where you like things to go for next month and what to work on. So it's kind of checking out the emotional energies, the behavioural things we've been holding on to, seeing what to let go, and then moving forward to how to make little changes for yourself in your life moving forward. Now, obviously, each journey is totally unique, and yet there is this moment where we can all come together in the collective full moon energy. So hopefully this video can help in that preparation. So the key points we're going to be looking at is the reflection about what to let go, what to hold on to, and the transforming energies that are happening. Then we're going to move into setting intentions, planting seeds for future growth, how to do that, all that sort of thing. Safety and grounding and connecting with nature's calming energy, particularly for this full moon, is really important. So it's important to have that safety behind us, which will be part of the meditation when it comes out. Some breath work, and that's just aligning the flow of energy through breath. And then the planning around the full moon day, making sure that you're taking some time for yourselves. This is about honoring ourselves, giving ourselves an opportunity to really engage with the process and make the most out of this beautiful moment. And then we'll just briefly touch on there are 3 chakras that we're going to be focusing on for this meditation. So I encourage you to follow along, have a listen to the tips, take what works for you, take what resonates, leave the rest, and really just immerse yourself in this experience. And the full moon is much richer when we can prepare for it and have a chance to just reflect and to journal and create. Then sit in that space where we make the time for ourselves to be there completely, and then at the end of it, revising how we went, what are the things we're putting into place, and then setting some goals individually as to what you can do to make those changes happen for you. So let's jump into the reflection stage, and this is where we get a chance to have a think about what's working and what isn't working for us. So it's really leading up to the full moon. It's the opportunity to spend some moments, and you can meditate, you can sit with this, sit in nature would be a beautiful one for this particular moon, reflecting on the patterns, behaviors and energies in your life and asking yourself, which ones serve me? Which ones serve me well? Which ones are no longer serving me? And it's not to condemn, it's to say that, okay, in the past, thank you for this energy, for what you've done for me. But at this point, it's time for me to move on, to move away from what might have been. So it's really finding what aligns with you and what's holding you back, to identify the energies, the behaviors, the ways of doing things, the ways of connecting, to identify what you want to hold on to and what you want to let go of. To do this one of the thoughts is journaling, meditation, contemplation, and then writing down some of your thoughts. It's not about judging or censoring what's going on. It's allowing whatever has to emerge freely. So you can really take stock and have an honest appraisal of how things are going. for this particular full moon, it is in Libra, and exploring creativity is going to be another really nice way to access that emotional core and deeper understanding of how things are going. So things like drawing, painting, writing poetry, playing music are just beautiful creative avenues that allow us to dig a little deeper into those emotions and dig beyond maybe the thinking part of our brain, so we can get a richer understanding of what's really going on for us. And in those moments, really encourage you to sit with the emotions. How does that feel? Where am I feeling that? What is that? What is the emotion trying to teach me? Where is there discomfort? Where do I feel uneasy? Where is it sitting in my body? What's going on there? The artistic expression can often help tapping into that a little bit more directly. Again, without trying to label it or put it into a category, we're just allowing it to be there because it is there. We do experience that. So it's a really honest way to dig a bit deeper into the emotions. And this full moon creative energy is very, very strong with this one. And another access point may be in nature. Nature is another powerful part of this particular full moon. Maybe spending some time in nature, getting away from the distractions of everyday life and from others, and really giving yourself that beautiful space to sit for the moment. Asking those questions, what's unresolved? Where am I feeling uncomfortable? What's going on there? And just journaling, letting it just flow. Let the thoughts just flow out freely. So that's really about listening to our emotional core and paying attention to the insight that our bodies naturally have for us. Paying attention to subtle signals, the physical sensations, the fleeting thoughts are all clues to help identify what's going on. So then we can look at releasing them and just letting them go. And I guess the whole point of that reflection process is to identify what to release. What are the things that are no longer serving our growth? It could be unhelpful habits. It could be some connections that are toxic. It could be thinking patterns that are negative. Fears that are holding on to us, limitations. And we all have these. And gradually that process of unlayering them, just one layer at a time. This is one of those beautiful unlayering moments. So it's really good to make the most of this moment to use this full moon's transformative energy as a powerful stepping stone into releasing the things that no longer, that we don't want to hold on to anymore. And can be challenging, but it's a beautiful process, especially if we can be gentle with it. There's no right or wrong. We haven't done good or bad. There are just things that patterns, energies that we've held on to because they've worked for us. And that's powerful. That's our body and our soul really trying to support us to get through challenges that we've had. And that is essential in those moments. And now we might find that it's not as essential and it's actually holding us back a little bit. So that reflection helps us recognize some of the things that it's time to let go of. And it's generously. We're grateful for the things that have protected us. But as we choose to move forward, there are some things that we can choose to let go of. So it's not about forcing that change. It's about letting go of the things that we recognize no longer serve us, to create the space for renewal. So releasing the things that no longer resonate with our true self. And then the next part will be about setting intentions. So this is where, once we've released the past energies, the things we're not going to hold on to, we can turn our focus towards what we'd like to cultivate. And this is kind of like planting of the seeds. for the future. We're not making change in this full moon. This full moon is not about making change happen. It's about letting go of the past, completion of things we've been working on, and then setting the scene for the next steps that we're going to be taking. Looking at what are the next things that we want to be working on. What are the new behaviours we want to bring in? What are the new connections that we want to foster? So you can almost imagine it as being, thinking about who you want to be, how you want to be present in the world, and the energies that you want to invite into your life. And it's kind of like planting seeds, the new possibilities under this full moon. Beautiful, powerful energy. And it's a symbol of stepping towards our authentic selves, stepping closer towards it. Again, these things don't change everything, but they're little steps to making a difference. Very powerful. And yes, it's hard work. Yeah, there's a lot of honesty, but the rewards for the richness of taking these steps are beautiful. So, just to recap that little bit, the full moon, the nature of this symbol is the culmination and transformation. So we're using the light to guide us to release the old, to embrace the new, and knowing that this is a really powerful moment to align with your higher self. Now, another part, so apologies, that is really an invitation for you to think about what are the things that are holding you back. Identify them so that then in the meditation you can actually release them. Setting the intentions of how you want to be moving forward. So using the next few days to prepare yourself before the full moon so that this is a little bit clearer for you. Now, within the meditation, grounding is a beautifully important part. And I see this as being the safety, in being in that safe space. This is the work that we're doing collectively, but you're doing this work individually within yourself. So there's some things that I think are really important, that feel so important. And when we're working with emotions and this transformative energy of the full moon, it's so crucial to feel grounded and safe. This emotional release can be intense sometimes. So making sure that you've got plenty of water nearby, making sure that you've got safe space where you're comfortable. Keep blankets, cushions, whatever setting is comfortable for you to meditate. Having a journal nearby can be a good thing to write things down at the end of the journaling. Some tissues. Sometimes some challenging things can come up. Within the meditation, we will be taking some time to visualize being in a nature space where you felt so deeply peaceful and safe and comfortable. And that can be a quiet forest clearing, it can be a meadow, it can be a serene beach, it can be the ocean, a river bubbling by. That's really a good chance for you to think about where is that safe space for you before the meditation. Again, so that you're ready for it and you've got an idea of where you can visualize yourself going to feel safe. And we'll be using all the senses to be able to imagine ourselves there, really connecting ourselves into nature. And again, that's such an important part of this full moon is that nature setting. So that's another thing for you to think about. Where is a space where you feel completely safe? And that is a practice that is beautiful to do anytime where we feel a little bit uneasy. It's good to have this kind of practice that we can resort to. Now, the next thing that we'll step into briefly is some breath work. And the breath work is a really powerful tool to align the energies and the healing rhythms of the full moon. And it's really about settling our breathing down. And that just helps our body system to be able to relax itself. And as we breathe in, we're breathing in the energy of the moon, and as we're breathing out, we're releasing the energies that we choose to let go of. So it's really bringing the energy work we're doing into the physical. such a beautiful way to cleanse that energy and to regulate emotions. Again, this is another really good process that the human body is so capable of, that we can use in so many different ways. Now, the next aspect that we'll just quickly talk about is the chakra focus. And we're looking at 3 chakras for this one. The heart chakra, very much that emotional energy, located at the center of the chest, the green energy, symbolizing love, compassion, emotional balance. And as we do this work on the full moon, that love and compassion for ourselves is so important, that we are taking the time to make a difference for ourselves. We're investing, we're doing the hard work. It's so important to be generous and to be open in that loving energy. And with the full moon's healing light, it is such a beautiful opportunity to release those emotions, to be open, to have that self-love and feel connected with the collective as we work on this one. The next chakra will be the root chakra at the base of the spine, the red energy. And this is about the safety and grounding. This is about the connecting to earth, that earth's nurturing energy, and how we can stabilize ourselves and have that safety and strength to let go of the fear and feel that we're connected and safe in that moment. And then the throat chakra, and position at the throat, light blue energy, communication and self-expression. And this is the power of speaking our own truths, setting clear intentions, honestly looking into what's going on for us, and being authentic in how we express ourselves to start with in this meditation, and flowing to then how we express ourselves to the world. So they're the 3 key chakras that we'll be focusing on. Now, just some logistics and planning for the full moon day. Setting up a space where you can spend that time with the meditation, and it'll roughly be around 30 minutes. Quiet area where you can practice without distractions. Clear the space of things that you don't really need, so nice empty sort of space, and then bring into the space things that you find are powerful and healing for you. Candles, crystals, flowers, soothing scents, things that make that safe space for you. And let it reflect the intentions you've got for the session. So the safety, the intentions of creating a better world for yourself, a better life, the peacefulness, that calm. Another thing for this full moon is spending some time in nature. So maybe spending a bit of time outside in nature during the day. Maybe near water, trees, open skies, wherever you feel comfortable, just to have that moment to pause. Again, giving yourself that space, the serenity of nature, just to really allow that clearing of space so that you're ready for the meditation. And before or after the meditation, you might want to try some journaling, light stretches just to center yourself. Bit of a pause before you step into that space. And throughout the meditation, we'll be honoring the full moon by visualizing the energy of the full moon coming to us. But it can also be a good moment to, maybe before you do the meditation or in reflection afterwards, spending some time looking up at the moon, just seeing that beautiful, beautiful globe and the energy that it shares. And lastly for this one is honoring yourself. This is you taking time for yourself. This can be tricky work, but it's so important for us to do, particularly in a world that is so noisy, so many distractions around. Taking this time to work for ourselves and on ourselves is stunning. It's a gift to ourselves, and it's a gift to the world. The more that we can work on ourselves, the more that we can find a more genuine version of ourselves, the richer, the healthier, the more vibrant our lives will be. And that flows into then how we interact with the world. And then lastly, the post-meditation integration. And that's really at the end of the meditation session, just take some quiet moments to reflect on the experience. How did you feel emotionally, physically, mentally? Were there any shifts that happen? It can be a good moment when you're ready to maybe journal some of these thoughts and feelings or any imagery that came to you. Journal them down. Maybe start thinking about those intentions you've got, and what you released. Where's the difference in that? And we'll have a video after the meditation, a few days after the meditation, where it just invites some reflection on what emerged for you and some ideas around, thinking through how to take those steps now. Like, yes, let's plant the seeds for this full moon. But then the little steps that you can take in your life, thinking about them for yourself. What can they look like? How to do that? And again, might be a good time to sit with nature for a little bit. Maybe a walk under the moonlight. Whatever works for yourself in just letting it all just sink in. Fluid as well. Drinking water is a good thing, just to rehydrate, because that's a lot of energy work that will be going on in the meditation. So finally, stay open to the process. Be open to listen, to pay attention, to hear whatever goes on for you. See what shifts, how it goes, what insights come up for you. I think we underestimate how much our bodies truly know. So it's a beautiful moment to really stay open to that process. All right. Thank you for listening. I'm looking forward to seeing you all on Saturday, Sunday, depending on the day of where you're located in the world. It will be a beautiful full moon experience, and looking forward to joining you on that stage. Thank you.